If you're among the 2 million Canadians who've enjoyed getting an employee discount where you work, well, beware of new rules from the Canada Revenue Agency that will mean the taxman will be clawing back a big part of those savings. Nick Gamache is in Ottawa with the details. Good morning.
Good morning, Heather. Well, you're right. This, at the very least, appears to be going against the narrative that this Liberal government has been trying to establish. That is, that they're trying to help people working to join the middle class. And certainly retail workers would fall into that category, often making lower wages. And if this is true, here's what we're talking about. The language in the Canada Revenue Agency guidelines is pretty clear. If an employee at a clothing store, for example, pays $25 for a sweater that's worth $50, and that kind of discount is not offered to the general public, the employer would have to keep track of that $25 discount, incorporate it into the employee's T4 at the end of the fiscal year, and the employee would ultimately have to pay taxes on that amount. Obviously not something that would be popular with people who work in the retail industry, nor is it particularly popular with employers because they don't necessarily want to add that to the administrative burden that they already have. And the confusion around this is not about the language, because the language is quite clear. It comes more from the government's response. They're not disputing the scenario I just outlined, but rather saying that they're not targeting retail workers.
What is the government saying? I mean, there's a lot of confusion surrounding this, Nick, and again, issues with the messaging.
Issues with the messaging, you're absolutely right, because even if they're saying that they're not targeting retail workers, the reality might end up being different. It's not about the intent here. And if they wanted to clarify things, they would have to go in and change that language from the CRA that I was just talking about, but that's not something that they've done so far. Just watch Marco Mendicino, Liberal MP, trying to explain this on Power and Politics yesterday.
So if you've got an employee discount that is not available to the public at any point in time, then it will be categorized as a taxable benefit. But this is not a change in the law. This is simply a clarification, which is a tool which will be used by employers.
And if Mr. Mendicino is right, if that's only a clarification, then the scenario I was outlining earlier would apply and employee discounts would be taxed. And that's something that the Conservatives have been jumping on.
The problem is that the government is planning to tax employee discounts as income. So if a waitress has a chicken salad at the end of her shift at 2 in the morning, her employer is going to have to keep a record of that. And at the end of the year, add it to her T4 income so that she can pay income tax on that salad and on any other food she consumes throughout the year. This is insanity.
Now, Heather, we'll see if, given all that pushback, if the Liberals' message evolves now, because that pushback is unlikely to go away.
Thank you very much, Nick Gamache in Ottawa this morning.